Let's just go over some of the microphones we used on her.
Oh God.
Yeah, just real quick.
There's a starring character in
Oh.
a starring role in Mad Villain Studios and in opheliac
Sure.
recording in general that I don't think that we have yet introduced.
No.
And that is the blue ball.
And I'm speaking on the blue ball.
Mm-hmm.
It is an integral. We'll cover it in a couple
Very
later
much so.
songs.
And visually entrancing.
Stunning.
Frankly.
It's
Which
blue.
is in fact one of its selling points
it's a
because
ball.
I read the pamphlet when you
Yes.
first showed it to me and one of its selling points was that singers love to sing into it.
The literature was
They
quite
just
clear.
do.
Right. That is correct. One of the things I'm speaking into.
Yeah.
Emily is on the SM7, Shure's venerable but always useful.
It's very substantial.
It's a badass mic.
Yeah.
Rumor has it, Michael Jackson recorded Thriller almost entirely with that mic.
Oh, is this the one?
If it's good
Okay.
enough for him, it's
Yeah.
good enough for Emily's overdubs.
I'll take it. Right, it's good enough for my companion.
It's good. It's good.
Thank
Totally,
you.
definitely good enough.
That
for
was
sure.
so cute how you said that. Right.
It's a very popular,
Yeah.
actually, radio mic.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
it's just 'cause
It looks like it. It has style.
Yeah,
It's got some
it's
old
got
school
moxie,
radio
right?
attitude.
It's got moxie.
Yeah.
So what do? We in general here you're gonna hear this most often, but we almost always record her strings with the Royer 121. It's ribbon mic. It's very soft. It's very nice.
Yeah.
This one has the RNC, which we'll talk about later. The
Okay.
really nice compressor.
Very good.
What did we use in your vocals on this? And I'm curious now.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, what was?
Why do you want to know?
Keep going with it. Oh, look at that. What do we have right here? On some of the verse we used the ball.
Yes. Okay, so what we're going to try to do as a sub-story arc in the story arc of the companion to Opheliac is that we're going to tell you where the ball was used and how. And so it appears that the ball was in fact used
On some
on
portion of her
Ophelia.
verse, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, we
Very
ran
interesting.
it through some distortion.
Right.
So a lot of times dynamic mics, if you're going to run this through a distortion amplifier, respond a little bit better. They pick up a little bit less, and if you ran this with a condenser, it'd have all this high end that's just going to turn into noise when you distort it. So I think that was some of the
like
thinking
that.
because like
If we're
Emily
going to
said,
distort, we like to do ourselves.
oh yeah,
so
totally. You don't tell me how to distort.
That's right.
So and then guess what? Your other buddy on the verse is the SM7, the very mic you're using.
Oh my
By the way, that's just a great
God.
mic.
It is. I feel really comfortable
It
talking
loves
into
you.
it. I feel a bond growing every day.
And then for
It
backing,
scares me.
oh well, you can take it home
He
with you.
scares me so.
Oh, she's just
Yeah.
throwing in JC left and right.
Do I bring him down? Right.
It looks like for your backing, guys, we used a Neumann TLM 103 and an MXL 69, just probably to give it a little difference. Yeah, we used more.
To bring in the crazy.
Yeah, to bring in some of the crazy.
Good.
That seems to be what most of the backings
Right.
were with. Oh, look at this. You see on some of this stuff, I put you through the dual vocal combo.
Ooh.
It's a device made by Langevin. I heard it's a hard
That sounds
G.
very bipolar.
I know. I thought it looks like Langevin to me, but I hear it's the hard G. And that mic pre has the best vocal compressor ever. I wish I would never sold that thing, but
Oh.
gear phase. It was
Well, we're going to get one
too
for free
big.
now that you've mentioned it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, Manley.
Right.
It's owned by Evanna Manley. She took it over from her dad out in California.
Oh.
They hand make their stuff there in Chino, I believe,
What
California.
does she look like?
She's a very lovely woman who rides a motorbike,
Oh, hello.
and they produce great tube
That's
equipment
nice.
and some solid state stuff, all discreet. It's badass.
Oh, I like it.
They actually have a standalone version of that compressor that I think is a 1U. It's thin like this. The other one was a
Yeah.
2U. I couldn't afford the rack space.
Oh,
It was too big.
that's what happens when
Yeah.
you work for the asylum.
I know. You
Right.
can't afford the rack space.
I mean, because I tend to pay people in spoons. I wish that were a joke.
They're silver and gold,
So-
so it's not all bad.
It's so sad that he believes that. Oh, God.
Well, the pawn shop's taking it so far. So
Yeah.
I think that's all we have technically on
Okay.
O.
That's good.
And was there anything else you had
I
content-wise?
I don't think there's anything else content-wise
Well,
that I...
You can't beat a dead horse.
But you can do what?
You do other things with it. You can whip its eyes.
You can whip its eyes.
You can compress it.
It's almost time for some tea, but I
Oh, it's true.
propose let us carry on.
Oh,
very quickly.
Okay, let's do
And
this.
let us at least segue into song number 2.
Number 2.
Right. Now that you're all asleep and in bed and I'm talking to myself,
This
let's
is the
talk about
best.
Swallow.
Oh, I love that song.
Swallow is a world of its own.
Swallow is the pop hit that you
It
didn't
is.
think was a pop hit.
Absolutely not.
No.
I honestly really had no expectations for the song whatsoever. I just knew that I had the song, I had the melody, and I had the concept, and I loved the concept, but I really didn't know if it was successful. And I feel like it is.
You know, the analogy between this song and that mic you're in is that mic acts like a condenser. We call it the little dynamic that doesn't know it's not a condenser.
Oh, that's so sweet.
This is the pop song that doesn't think it's a pop song.
Exactly.
There is no true, other than string produced bass line in this song. Now, how many
That is a
pop
very interesting
electronic songs
point.
don't have what we
Right.
just heard in Opheliac?
But tell me this, do you miss it?
No. No, in fact,
Because I never think
glad.
about that. I wonder if anyone thinks about that.
no, it's just one of those things when
Yeah.
I'm being technical on it and
Yeah.
looking at it, I said,
Let's
wait
be
a second.
technical. This is our chance.
There's no
There's no
bass,
bass line.
electronic bass.
And you're thinking, that is so nice of her. One less thing for me to mix.
Well, true.
But yeah, let's listen to a bit of that and see whether we in fact miss anything. I thought it didn't need it, and I wanted that feeling of weightlessness that contrasts the fact that you're talking about drowning and sinking.
Sure.
It should feel like you're flying because you're
again, she's-
constantly fighting the drowning.
She's thinking of those
Right.
textures that are so delicate.
Yes, thank you.
By the way, I love
So-
opening with that affected vocals. It's perfect. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and
They-
why is that? Because it was supposed to simulate the underwater
yeah.
effect, which is like, you know, that's pretty simple, and yet that is the
Yeah, it's
truth.
totally
It's supposed to.
But that already starts you off as the pop anthem
Yeah.
right there.
No, you're right. Anything doctored vocals,
Yeah.
doctored vocals represents.
Dr. Vocal.
I know. I regretted saying that as soon as it came out of my mouth. But yeah, doctored vocals represent something that is going to be very, very popular.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I love
So it's-
that spanning though.
Yeah. See, that's it. Those
Yeah.
are your bass steps.
Do you know, this is one of the first songs, if not the first song. This and Innocence were the first songs that I actually ever really, definitely from this record and in general, ever really programmed seriously and really went out and said, I'm going to do like
so
some
these were your
industrial
first cracks
style.
at kind of getting that
at
electronics
doing
for percussion.
this, yeah. Because
Right.
I mean, I'd done electronic program, but on a completely different level, not in this even really remote genre. This is essentially different versions of industrial programming and electronica and glitch and the rest of it. And this was pretty much my first attempt
What
at that.
a great job.
But you can tell in that there's so many tracks, and I think I probably bounced them together before I showed them to
see.
you, so that they wouldn't be that insanely overwhelming. But
Well,
if
vocals
you
were in it.
saw the,
the
but talking about
originals.
just like
Right.
the drums,
Right.
it was
Well,
crazy.
let's look at percussion.
Yeah.
now. Percussion looks like, oh, wow,
Right.
you're right. We're only dealing like 10 or 12 here.
Right.
Look at that.
Because I had started to try to be considerate and take things that were in the same sort of frequency and bounce them
Right.
together before we even had to deal
That's
with
the
it.
beauty
but
of you knowing those things. You can
I try.
totally. She
I try.
premixes, really.
Yeah, for
So-
certain things like percussion, yeah, I do. But
Dude, we got a decent amount of electronics. We've got some 6 little synth,
yeah.
and your strings are quite formidable. They look about 20.
Yeah. Well, because this is one of the very few songs that doesn't really have a harpsichord, I think. So that's the thing, is most are harpsichord driven, in fact,
This
because
is one
that
of
is
the-
the theme that goes through
It's
it. And
missing
this
that
is one
thread, right?
Yeah, right. And
But
that
you
is
make up for
also
it with
well, because
boxing.
what is we established from the from opheliac that the harpsichord represents a bit the sort of corporeal the earthboundness.
She was being
of all of it,
nostalgic a bit, right?
right?
A bit retro.
Yeah, definitely retro. Right.
Wow, always retro. Who would have thought about
so
that? She was so
retro.
retro.
I know, it's weird. But yeah, the harpsichord represents a sort of grounding of things. It's a very grounded percussive instrument. And